then you are labeled an enemy agent and you are put in Quattro. And the rest
Quattro
is history.
essentially was a prison,
It was a
to
prison. Yeah.
put it bluntly.
Yes, it was.
It was
a
not
prison.
this camp where you arrived and you were taken care of. It was a separate camp from where other comrades would have been based.
In fact, to put it in context, when we arrived in Angola, we arrived in a place called BTR.
Yeah.
And then from there, we moved to a block of flats where we were going to stay. We stayed for a few weeks there.
Yeah.
And then we moved to yet another camp that is known as Engineeria, where most of the June 16 group arrived. And then from there, we went to the south, to Benguela, to start our training.
Okay.
And then from Benguela, we went to a place called Nova Katenge. That was now our main camp.
And how long was
the
the training?
fasting? The training was for about 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 months. The training was for 6 months. But it was about almost 2 years before we started training after we arrived in Angola, because you'll understand that there were no arrangements.
Yeah.
There was nothing that was
So in
waiting
that 2
for
years,
us.
you were just floating around.
We were just floating around from pillar to post because there were not even logistics for our sustenance on our arrival in Angola, because the NC was running, the leadership of the NC was running around all over the world trying to find people who can provide us with the
training.
necessary wherewithal that we will need for our training. We need food, we need uniforms, we need guns, we need all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Now, all those things were not there.
Yeah, and that's if you can just connect with that story. Does it mean that there weren't other detachments before the 76 detachment who were actually trained, so that, in a sense, one would expect that the training framework or arrangements are in place, and you just needed to plug into detachments that already there undergoing training?
Yeah, we, the June 16 detachment,
Yeah.
arrived. We found the Mgwenya, the Tulu detachment, but they were already tired. They trained in Tanzania, not in Angola. So we were the first group of 76 to open a training camp in Angola.
So in Angola, there was no ANC training camp before the 76 detachment?
Nothing.
I see. And in these 2 years, what were you busy with before you got trained? I mean, were you just stationed in one place, not doing any military training or exercises or whatever?
Nothing. Because, as you said, our leadership was not ready for this group of June 16, 1976. So we took them by surprise, because you remember this was organized by our students, Soweto students. Not ANC, not PAC, not any other organization. It was a students' initiative.
Yeah.
Yes. So the ANC was not ready for us.
ANC was not ready for you.
Yes.
So once the training happened in the Telutando, what then happened? I mean, I'm interested in this part where the training is now complete. First of all, did you know that the training was going to be 6 months long, or after 6 months you decided, no, we are ready now?
Well, I must say that I joined MK later than the two.
Okay.
I joined MK at around 1980, 81.
Yeah.
And by that time, at least everything was running.
Was already running like clockwork.
Like clockwork. But at that time, it was already clear that each course, training course, takes 6 months.
Yeah.
Unless there may be some interruptions. Like in our case, there was a malaria epidemic, and we had to relocate from this camp to open Kagulama.
Yeah.
Yes. So there were such situations, but the course normally took 6 months.
Okay. Yeah. So what happened now once you are finished with the 6 months? Did you only discover once the training was finished that there's no way forward here?
From 6 months, maybe prior to the end of the course, there might be chances of some of us going overseas to GDR, German Democratic Republic, East Germany by that time, or Soviet Union for further training.
For further training,
Yes. But otherwise, coming home for military operations
Yeah.
is nothing, there's nothing we are told about. That is something secret.
Sure.
We are not told that from once you finished, then you are going to be sent to the country.
So you're saying that coming back home was ruled out
Well,
officially to say, guys, we're not ready yet, or you are not ready. We know you have trained. You must rather go for further training instead of going now into South Africa to fight.
maybe to give some perspective here. For example, we, as the June 16 detachment, the first group to be trained in Angola, we did our training, and upon completion of the training, people were selected, as my comrade has been saying here, for further training in Eastern Europe, your GDR, your Soviet Union, etc., etc. And then others ended up going to school, etc. But a few were sent back into the country. But there were those of us, the ones who've got big mouths,
Yeah.
who were kept in the camp. Nothing was happening, no explanation was given. The next thing that happened to us is that we would be told that, okay, comrades, you're going to do, you can't just sit in the camp and know that. Meanwhile, new recruits had arrived now
Yeah.
who were receiving their training after us.
Yes.
Now, some training program would be put together, which was not dissimilar to what we had done for the past 6
Yeah.
months.
So it was more repetitive.
It was more repetitive, so we had to do that. And I remember in one meeting, we asked them, I specifically asked them, the commanding staff. I said to them, now wait a minute, guys. You know, when we came to exile, we did not come to fetch you. We found you here in
Yeah.
exile, right? Our quest was to get training and guns to go and fight.
Yeah.
We're not saying you must come with us.
Yeah.
In other words, if you are afraid of the Boers, we are not.
Yeah.
Just give us what we need. No, you see, comrades, it's not easy. We're still making a ring. I said, wait a minute. When I joined the ANC and I came into exile, I was not helped by the ANC to skip the country.
Yeah.
Are you trying to tell me that the training that I've received now is of such a nature that I can no longer do that which I could do without training? Now I can't do it anymore.
So you can't skip Angola.
You can't skip Angola. And then I said, once I'm at it now, there's also this phenomenon that's taking place. Almost invariably, our comrades, when they cross into South Africa, they get arrested by the Boers. And I'm refusing to accept that the Boers are so good at detection of our people that they can catch us at the rate they are doing. I think you guys, I think these are some of the ways that I talk myself into Quattro.
Yeah.
I said, I think you guys have opened up wholesales in the frontline states. You are selling us.
Sure.
As a result. One, if one day you were to decide to let me go on a mission in South Africa, I don't want to go with anybody because I don't want to be sold and I don't want to sell another person. That's number one. Number two, I'm not going to travel from here to Swaziland and find somebody who has been surviving for years in Swaziland. And then that person, having survived that, for that long, must be the one who tells me, no, comrade, you're going to cross at such and such a place, at such and such, such a time. That's how our people get arrested. I can't be told by that,
So you
because
didn't-
I don't know why, how that person is
So
surviving.
clearly you
there.
didn't get to do all of that. Then you ended in Quattro.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things that were happening because the way I analyze the situation, the people who were assigned missions normally were people who stood the least chance of survival. Because when they get to the frontline states, when they are told you're going to cross there, they go and cross there.
Yeah.
And then only to find that after they've crossed the fence, they find the
Boers waiting
the
for
Boers
them.
waiting for
To
them, and they
arrest
nab them. And I know I've met some people who ended up that way. It's like these guys who are Askaris today,
Yeah.
some of them, how they ended up being Askaris. They were delivered to the Boers.
Okay, after the break, I want to talk about Quattro now. Tell me what happened in these camps, right? And whether you believe that there is some kind of closure, right, about within the movement about what happened there? Has there been acceptance and so on? We'll talk about that after the break. Let's take a break. After the break, we hear more about what happened in Quatro in particular. What are the atrocities that happened in these camps? And has there been closure? Are we at the point where we can pursue a healing of memories of what happened in Quatro? Let's take a break now.